welcome back to Blender Sushi LIVENODING. In this episode I want to show you this interesting thing with geometry nodes, simulation nodes. So basically I have this default cube and I have two geometry nodes. There's a plus and there's a minus. Okay, so let's try with the plus. I just run the simulations. As you can see, it's growing like a mushroom, right? Just like a bunch of default cube. And if I replace this with minus, if I run the simulations, you can see it's starting to eat out the cube, but while keeping the last state of the cube. Okay, so that's basically what I want to show you. Let's take a look at the geometry nodes itself. So let's go inside. So you could actually run the simulations simply by replacing it over here, but you can also keep these simulations but run it as another geometry nodes. I'll show you in a bit. So replace this with the plus. Okay, as you can see, okay, it's growing the cube, just doing the boolean operations inside. So this is inside the simulation zone, the output, and it's coming the original geometry input coming in and as a geometry, and then the simulation nodes is handling some of the kind of like the loop. So let's see. So it's very simple. Just distribute random points on faces with a small number density. So it's gonna keep adding points on top of the previous mesh. So it's not inside the default cube, but it's keep adding and adding. You can keep running this until your computer ran out of memory. You might be wondering what makes this so different than if we are actually having like a non-simulated setup. With simulation nodes, you actually probably the operations, it's much more efficient in a way. I believe so. So every operation is just adding to the previous geometry. It might add the memory, but there might be a way to kind of make this even more efficient and a lot faster. So it's almost like, because it's procedural, right? So it's keep adding, and then if you at this point I just change it to minus, now it's starting to eat out, trying to eat the geometry. So the difference between plus and minus is this mesh boolean. So the first one is just doing the union, this one is doing the difference. So it's continuously distributing points and then replacing the points with another cube with random size, and then I believe I should also plug this into the seed so it's random. And if I want to do this differently, I could actually have a cube like this and create a new geometry nodes, and I still have the plus and the minus. So geometry nodes over here, I can just shift A, add the node group, minus. So you might actually see something interesting. If I do it this way, we only have the cube being eaten, right? If I turn this off using mute, so just plus, right? It just keep growing. If I make a couple of these, let's see, and then I want to randomize the value actually. So if we randomize the value like that, we can have different seed for each one of the cube. So this should be, I'll try to give a different number. Alright, so okay, this one probably I just give big value. Right, each one of them keep growing and making a different result. And if we, okay, we can have this running for a while, and then if I suddenly turn this on, suddenly they disappear, but actually they're still there. Now it's starting to eat the mesh. So I kind of wondering if we actually, if we want to bake or delete this, if we actually apply this, it's gonna disappear, I believe. There should be maybe another nodes behind the simulation, so it's you can kind of finalize and bake it. But if you want to use another method, I will just use Spherechock. So Spherechock can look at this, enable pause, and then use mesh viewer, and we can have like a bake result over there. So you know what I mean? So grab this, get selection, and we get this result. We just make a copy, get selection, make a copy, get selections, make a copy, yeah, and so on. Because this guy, if we try to bake it, it's gonna, oh, right, I was wrong. Actually, we can bake this guy, I mean, by just applying them, and then they disappear. Oh, okay, so this one is bake, this one is not bake. But anyhow, you got the idea. Keep growing and keep adding until your computer run out of memory. I don't know if it's I think it's doing it like really efficiently, you know, like growing something and then you do the opposite and then turn on the minus and distracting. So I think that's pretty cool effect, and you can do the same with anything, including text. So I really found that, okay, the geometry node simulation is a little bit more dynamic, and it's actually like a tool. It's more like a tool, like real-time tools. So if we now use this font, for example, and I just write down, okay, make it 15, size 15, and extrude a little bit, and blend, and then if I add the geometry nodes plus, right, it's adding random points and cube. You can see it's actually doing boolean operations. Save. Yeah, and I just replace this with minus. Now it's starting to eat out our text object. It's doing it on the fly, so it's almost like you really go in and destroying these text objects. At the moment, it seems like, okay, it's slowing down. I don't know why, because it's keep adding mesh and details, right? Maybe that's sometimes it's really small, but you're gonna get like really cool result. In fact, if your boolean objects have certain material, I believe it's also keeping that material, so you can really get like a quite complex looking result just from this. Can I convert it to mesh? Yeah, I can convert it to mesh. Now let's give it a material like metal. Oops, metal. Where is my favorite metal? Maybe stone or stylized. Okay, metal, apply material. Cycles. Turn on the light. Point light. It's a bit weak. let's make it 500 watt. Okay, because this thing is really big, make it smaller. Alrighty. Where's my other favorite material? That's interesting. Seems to be missing. Stone material. But so yeah, that's basically the effects. What I kind of wondering if we have a setup like what we have earlier. So I wonder if we can kind of switch on and off the effects on the fly. So this is really what we get by changing it. So this one, right? Okay, let's go back. Obviously this is too big, and so it's cutting through Susan head. Too big. Let's make Susan bigger. It's doing the minus. Turn off the minus. Okay, let's just apply the scale and apply the transform. Now it's gonna add this cube. So like Susan have this disease, default cube disease, and starting to grow on the face. So it's almost like a horror anime by Junji Ito. And now doing the minus. You can replace the cube with icosphere or with any other shapes. You can really refine this effect, you know, like maybe the cube objects is instead of just points, you can also make it kind of facing the normal of the surface of the original mesh. So yeah, right now it's just performing booleans. I don't know, maybe my computer cannot handle it, so the out of memory, so it's gonna crash. But that's basically the whole things that I want to show you. Give it a try yourself. Hopefully you find it useful. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.